How to know you're in the presence of evil?
What? What are you looking at me for? What?
It's not like a dark cloud appears and the room suddenly feels icy and cold.
I don't know, man. You haven't been in the room with my mum when she found out that I hid her heart medication. Or where I hid her heart medication. I mean, how is she going to get it off the roof whilst desperately clutching at her chest, eh? I know, it is a hilarious prank, but don't try this at home, kids. The police will have questions. And really, who wants to talk to people? Not worth it.
So how does a child of God know when they are in the presence of evil?
Well, I guess you'll have to look for some sort of comparison, and as a God-loving church troll, you'll probably want to go straight to the source of evil in the Bible. You just have to find the greatest portrayer of objectively evil acts within, and then you have somewhere to start from, and oh dear, why does God keep killing so many people? And getting them to do some really messed up shit all the time. Holy crap, he genocides an entire planet. I mean, really, what would be more evil than that? I'm almost impressed. Anyway, yeah, so you'll know if you are in the presence of evil if something has any attributes in common with God. Good to know.
Well, there can be an uneasiness within you.
Oh, right, so I am surrounded by evil all the time then, at least whenever I'm with, people. Because, social anxiety is a thing that lots of people have, and really, is this actually effective? I mean, people get unfounded bad feelings about places or peoples all the time when there's nothing going on. And probably, way more often, I bet, the absolute opposite. I mean, how many times have we heard, "Oh man, he seemed like such a nice guy. I just can't believe he would put all those chickens and an elephant into a trebuchet and try and storm the Houses of Parliament like that. It doesn't even make f***ing sense." Look, it would have worked if Polosia had responded.
You will feel strongly compelled by the Holy Spirit, and you will know that you are in the wrong place.
And how exactly will I know that I am being actually compelled by the Hobbly Skillet and not, say, my boy Satan or fucking Cthulhu, or any number of other made-up guys with various reasons for wanting me to leave a particular place? Or imagine this, that you're just having a feeling because bodies are dumb and misfire that shit all the time. As humans evolved in the wild and haven't really had time to catch up to the weirdness that is living in towns and cities, so it detects danger when there is none, because a giant predator slug is gonna get me! Oh wait, no, that's just a bendy bus. Bendy bus, they're so lame!
But how about when the evil is more subtle? Say it's not so much the atmosphere or the place, but rather, how do you pick up on evil if it's within a person?
Well, aside from the fact that evil with a capital E is probably not a real thing, I'm pretty sure if someone is truly nefarious, you are likely never gonna know. That's what makes someone an effective villain. None of this over-the-top, in-your-face supervillain shit. No, if you want something that can be called objectively evil in all senses of the word, what you do is you buy up the rights to life-saving or even life-sustaining drugs. Drugs that people need to continue living. And then up the price by tens, hundreds, or even thousands of times. That is pro-evil. I don't think I'd ever be that good at being bad. I'm too lazy. And stupid.
How can we as Christians pick up on some of the signs that tell us whether or not another person we associate with is being influenced by a demonic or unclean spirit?
Well, not wanting to fall back on a Circic classic, but, well, no need to worry, demons and spirits don't reel. But even if somehow they were, well, much like G-Dog, they are for some reason undetectable by any means whatsoever. Like, not even a fancy pants detectomatic can find them. And since pitiful human sensors are so, well, shit, whatever you think you're feeling in that regard is probably a fat lot of nothing, bro. You might just be thirsty.
And you really have to be in the Lord in order to pick this up because it's not obvious to the naked eye.
Or, anything ever. And of course, if you can't do our magical trick, you aren't trying hard enough or you aren't good enough Crimsbians. And any other explanation is wrong. It's all your fault. How about stop being so useless? I can detect demons, but that's just because I'm so cool with the Lord. But don't worry, I am willing to teach you how to be like me. And all you have to do is everything I say, and also probably buy some of my totally not useless shit. and then maybe you can do it. Although again, if you can't, it's your fault and definitely not the fact that I am scamming you.
Everyone looks normal and presentable on the outside.
Dude, have you, met everyone? No, scratch that. Have you met anyone? There's a reason that the word normal exists, and that's because there are things that aren't normal. And I'm not saying that that is necessarily a bad thing. Differences make the world go round, as they say. But the idea that you might look at this guy and think, well, that guy just looks too normal to me. Oh, well, moving on, is just a bit too funny.
Everyone cleans up, dresses up so well on the outside, but internally...
Where the do you live? You must live in the most clean-cut, milk-toast, presentation is everything world to think that that's right. I mean, this isn't even standing operating procedure for many Crimsbians. Otherwise, you wouldn't get these guys with dark brown hair, naked, aside from wearing a sandwich board stating the end is nigh. And that board is doing nothing for his figure. Needs to get one of those designer sandwich boards so he can strut.
They could be in a sorry, wretched, evil state.
So, all of them all the time. I mean, that's humans for you, and really, who isn't constantly just a bubbling pot of pure hatred, just one push away from exploding both metaphorically and literally as they explode the very earth itself due to the sheer offedness? Or is that just me?
So how can you and I identify the kinds of people we should associate with and develop relationships with?
The implication there being, if you think someone is having a hard time, if they are a person who is in a sorry, wretched place, they are not to be associated with. Fuck them. I mean, you said it yourself. Even the evil will be due to demonic shit or whatever. So someone who is suffering like that, you should just ignore them and go with people who won't be such a big old downer. This must be that Christian love I keep hearing so much about. Isn't it grand?
The first group of people that you should avoid and beware of are those who embrace their sin. These are the people who still enjoy and indulge in sinful activity.
People who accept themselves as they are? Yeah, those people are the worst. I mean, they wouldn't be doing what my invisible sky friend says they should. Well, what some guy hundreds of years ago wrote down and then translated across multiple languages said that he said they should. It's so unreasonable that anyone would have a problem with doing that shit. Oh, also chuck on top my, or probably my pastor's interpretation, what ancient guy said God said. Look, it seems reasonable to me.
And we should avoid such people because the Bible warns us against this.
What did I tell you? Book say bad, so you bad. Me no like think for self, so book good. And no, this isn't me having a go at all the Crimsbians. I know some of you can actually think for yourselves, but those of you who don't, who can't actually make decisions for yourselves, yeah, no, I really don't want you trying to make decisions for the rest of us, seeing as how utterly incompetent you are at it. It's just not in your skill set. Maybe take up knitting instead.
The Amplified Translation for 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verse 11 says,
Here it goes. Bible babble. The one true way to figure out if the person you are speaking to is completely and totally not worth it. Just switch to a blank expression and start thinking about your favourite thing, whether that be doing a sex or drinking the whiskey. Either way, you'll be smiling and aroused, and hopefully they'll be too uncomfortable to keep talking and will leave you alone, preferably forever.
But actually, I have written to you not to associate with any so-called Christian brother if he is sexually immoral or greedy.
Sexually greedy. Oh, that is actually fantastic. This book was definitely not written by the virgin saint versus the Chad sinner who is too busy banging the virgin's mum to give a shit about this Bible crap. Not immoral, though. He bangs the guy's dad, too. He's an equal opportunity greedy sexer. Everybody is getting it today. Well, except the saint, obviously.
Or is an idolater, devoted to anything that takes the place of God, or is a reveler, who insults or slanders or otherwise verbally abuses others.
I didn't realise that was the definition of reveller. I thought revelers were like a bunch of British lads going out on the lash and, now that I've said it out loud, I realise that, yep, that's what Britishers do when they're out on the piss. They make fun of everyone and everything all the time, sometimes in pretty brutal fashion. Some might say that cultural norm has rubbed off on me. And to that, I would say, idiot, you said rubbed off, what a loser.
Or is a drunkard or a swindler. You must not so much as eat with such a person.
You know what? As I more and more resemble these remarks, I'm starting to think, what a fucking great idea. I mean, of all the people I would want to share an evening meal, plus the usual 2 barrels of whiskey strapped to the side of my head, like some comically oversized beer hat. You're welcome for that image you will now have to draw, Mrs. Sick. If there's anyone I would want to do that with less, it's some dipshit who gets all of their life advice from the Bible. They either grow up to be total squares or serial killers, and either way, dinner's gonna be awkward.
The Bible here is clearly telling us not to keep company with those who indulge in sin.
AKA, be a lame loser who does nothing interesting with their lives. Note, I said interesting. It does allow for unbelievable amounts of horrendously horrid and immoral behaviour, but just not in that interesting, fun, kill-all-who-man's way, but in the shitty and gross, oppress people for being wrong based on shit that they can't control and really truly shouldn't matter, and more importantly, doesn't fucking affect you. But you have to stop it anyway, because what's the point of living if other people are enjoying their lives / being themselves?
There is a clear difference between someone who is struggling with sin and someone who indulges in sin.
God damn, he makes sin sound really good. He's got that pleasing baritone and the use of the word indulging. I think I might have to go indulge in some sin myself later today. I have no idea what I mean by that, but I am sure it's going to be a good time.
For those who indulge in sin, the Bible instructs us to avoid such a person and not to so much as eat with such a person.
I thought I had done something really stupid there. I mean, that is something I am known to do, but then I realised that no, he just fucking repeated himself. Almost verbatim. I mean, I'll make the same point more than once in a video, usually to hammer it home, but I'll at least say it differently for fuck's sake. This really is just them proving that they are completely incapable of deviating even slightly from the things that they have been instructed to think. It's pretty wild.
I believe the Bible so explicitly warns us about sinful people like this because they could very well offer us some of what they are indulging in.
And you, being someone who has no thoughts or opinions of your own, will be completely powerless to refuse such an offer, especially when that last remnant of intellect rattling around in your head can see that their sinful life of not doing what some old book says and being happy doesn't seem to do any harm whatsoever. In fact, much less than my current life, because they don't feel guilty about some stray sinful thought and then beat themselves up for days or weeks because the Sky Man will be mad and might torture me forever. I mean, it stands to reason why the Bible would be so against it. You might start to realise that it's bullshit, and they can't have that now, can they?
Another type of person that we should avoid is the one described in Proverbs chapter 24, verse 1 and 2.
Look, if this isn't the dudest who doeseth all the gnarliest kickflips and the sickest grinds, he hath the devil with him, for God cannot do such tubular tech and is well gel bruv. I am going to be super disappointed. Hey, it could be in there. It's at about the same writing level as the rest of the fucking thing.
The Bible reads, "Be not envious of evil men, nor desire to be with them. For their hearts devise violence, and their lips talk of trouble."
Yeah, of course. I mean, when has the Bible caused violence or even talked about committing it constantly as a good thing to do? Never, that's who. The Bible is about cupcakes and fairy princesses giving out hugs and candy to all the good little boys and girls. And that explains why no one gives me cupcakes.
I like that the Bible uses the word desire.
Do you? You like desire, eh? Well, what are you up to after this? 'Cause I desire that you go away forever. 'Cause I imagine a conversation with you is akin to having one's skin peeled off using a rusty spoon. And honestly, even that sounds significantly more entertaining.
Because we can and probably have at some point desired to be with a certain group of people or to fit into a certain circle.
Yeah, like when you say you totally agree to all the crazy shit that your parents say, even though none of it makes any sense to you. Better to just sit there pretending you believe so that you can have a home and stuff to eat. But when you hit that magical age, you can get the out of Dodge because those people are fucking nuts.
But the Bible is saying, if those people are evil, have no desire to be with them.
Of course, never consider the idea that labeling people as evil because they don't act in a way you deem worthy is pretty much one of the most disgusting things you can do. Never, ever have self-awareness. Self-awareness is the devil's plaything. Oh wait, no, that's the penis.
And you may be asking, what exactly am I classing as evil?
Oh, this ought to be good. Let's see if they can justify this in a way that doesn't make them sound like either hypocrites or just plain morons. Although, if I were a betting man, probably both.
Sin is evil in God's eyes.
Oh, obviously. So yeah, I was right. Stupid and hypocritical. Because you know who really hates it when you talk for him? God. Might want to, not do that. I mean, I'll talk for him, but then you are just going to find out that he really wants you to send me all the whiskey. But you just aren't ready for the true word of God, are you?
This is why we are told clearly that we should not envy the wealth of the wicked or crave their company. We should have no desire to be in the company of self-righteous people, or selfish people, or prideful people.
Well, then, I guess you are all gonna have to stop hanging out with yourselves. Wab wab.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel, Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the